So just as he's winding up for the day, his clerk approaches him with a request to take up a motor accident claim matter filed by a distant relative of his in the village who cannot afford a fee. Kartavya is not just a responsible advocate, he is also a kind human being. He is conscious of the fact that the legal profession is not all about making money. It is also about keeping the standards of the bar high and giving back to the community and the society. He offers to take on the case pro bono. But when a gentle suggestion is made to him of taking a cut from the proceeds of the MACT claim at the end of the litigation, he lets it pass and simply tells his client, his clerk, to ensure that an NOC is obtained from the previous counsel before he is engaged, and he proceeds to file his wakalatnama. I must remind you that an advocate is prohibited from stipulating a fee contingent on the results of the litigation or agree to share the proceeds of the litigation. An advocate cannot receive any share or interest in any actionable claim. He should not directly or indirectly bid or purchase in his own name or through a benami any property sold in execution of a decree of the court or an order in a proceeding where he was professionally engaged. He should keep a meticulous account of the money entrusted by his client to him. He should not, without the consent of his client, divert any portion of the expenses towards his fee. Non-payment of the entire or part fee should not be a ground for the advocate to refuse to return the brief to the client. With this, Kartavya calls it a day. He is fatigued by now. It has got rather late. He had promised his family that he will be back home on time to join them for dinner. As usual, he couldn't keep his promise. They must have gone to sleep by now. Lights are out. So, before I discuss the rest, I'll add a disclaimer. In case there's a Kartavya who's an advocate or a COR here, the story is not about him. It is a purely fictional character that has come to me as I was invited by Spora to address you on what are the professional etiquettes and ethics that a lawyer should follow. So this was a script of a long and exhaustive day in the life of a young advocate on record. In this narrative, do you think that Kartavya has been successful in discharging his Kartavya to the court, to his clients, to his adversaries, to himself and the public? No one is perfect. An imperfect advocate is the first step towards gaining perfection. The process is ever evolving. Now, I'll leave you with some questions relating to professional ethics. Hearing what I narrated to you, what do you think should Kartavya have done? Should he have remained present in court when the judgment was going to be pronounced in another court before attending to his matters of the day? I hope that all of you are common on the view that he should have. You can't be absent in court when a judgment is being pronounced. Whatever be the outcome, the advocate is expected to extend that courtesy to the court. Next was Kartavya and his friends' right in remaining silent spectators and moving away from the lunch table where gossip was going on about a judge and a lady colleague's reputation was being besmirched. Should he not have taken any positive action? Just think about it. What would you have done if you were in the shoes of Kartavya? Next, should Kartavya have categorically refused to file suspicious documents handed over to him by his client? Let us not forget that a false affidavit that an advocate may file can put into jeopardy his entire advocate on record career. It is a serious responsibility that an advocate on record owes to the court when he puts his pen on the paper and signs the document. Anything said in that document and anything filed on the court file is the responsibility of the advocate on record. He can't shirk it off by saying that he was given this by somebody else and he just assumed that it has been read and he signed it. It's just not acceptable. 4. Should Kartavya have ignored the broad hint given to him to accept a cut from the proceeds of the MACT claim likely to be received by his client in lieu of his professional fee? Would you have done the same? What would you have done if such an offer was made to you, highly lucrative that it may be? Lastly, has Kartavya discharged his duty to himself and his family? Should he not have made that effort to wind up a bit early and go home to spend some quality time with his loved ones? I think many of us would plead guilty on this count. It happens all the time. There are so many excuses that we make for returning home late, and who's the biggest sufferer? The family. And they take it because they love you. It's very important for an advocate to balance his work and his life, personal life, and maintain it. And that is how probably you will last longer in the career, in the profession, and remain a happy professional, a successful professional, and a happy man and a happy woman at home. In a nutshell, professional ethics is a compendium of some written and some unwritten rules that form a code of conduct for the legal practitioner. Some things are left unsaid. It is for the advocate to take a call and ask himself if he is on the right track. That little voice within us must never be drowned in the cacophony outside. Permit me to conclude with these inspiring words of Mr. Nani Palkiwala, the famous jurist, who had to say this on being a lawyer, and I quote, "When it comes to the end of our day and the evening arrives, I hope we will be able to say to ourselves that while we entered the profession to do well, we stayed in the profession to do good." Thanks.